Hi everyone. So I wanted to share something interesting with you today. For years I've had this really interesting pocket watch. It's the kind that you wind up. It's an antique. And I'm not actually sure where it came from. I've had it for such a long time. I've always had it. And I can't think back to a time when I didn't have it. So I'm not exactly sure where it came from. I don't know if it was passed down to me from like a family member or something. But there's something that I've noticed about it that's just really weird is that there was a number etched on the back here. And I've always been worried about winding it up. It's really old and I haven't wound it up. And I don't know if I'm just misremembering it incorrectly, but on the back of the watch, there's a number etched on there. And then I think the first number that I remember seeing was 479. I always wondered, what does that mean? Is that the person that made it? And over the years, the number that's etched on the back has gone down. I checked it a couple years ago, it was at 100. A couple months ago, it was at 10. And I don't know what that means, but I've just checked it and the number has reached zero. It just says zero. And I don't know what that could possibly mean, but I think I'll wind up the watch for the first time and see what happens. Here goes. Well, would you look at that? I'm the doctor. Hi, thanks for joining me. Today I would like to perform a writing exercise in which we write the hypothetical 16th Doctor. Currently, Doctor Who is on its 15th Doctor, portrayed by Ncuti Gatwa. Now, unfortunately, the show, in its portrayal of the character and the writing, the stories, the dialogue, they are not resonating with the viewers and fans of the Doctor, especially the long-time viewers. Viewership is at an all-time low. The portrayal of the Doctor is not what fans want to see from the character. And unfortunately, the way in which the actor Ncuti Gatwa interacts with the viewers and the fans, especially via social media and the internet, is not good. It's quite a negative way to interact and engage with people. This is quite disappointing, especially coming from a long line of actors who have understood the character not just on a deeper level, but the importance of the character in our culture, especially English culture. So today I would like to make an attempt at writing what I believe would be an interesting 16th Doctor, and I hope you enjoy this exercise with me. What is important with a Doctor, because there have been so many at this point, is to make sure that the Doctor has unique and interesting traits and quirks. These need to go beyond surface level, but they are there to balance out the seriousness and sometimes the dour reality of some of the stories that can be quite grim. In this exercise, I have not scripted or planned anything. I am just going to make this up on the spot as we go along to prove that a competent writer should be able to come up with something compelling and interesting without having to spend a huge amount of time and effort and struggle. Competent writing, strong writing should be basically, part of it should be effortless. And that should come from an experienced writer. So let's go ahead and get started on our exercise here. Now, I'm just going to imagine and come up with these traits on the spots. I think it would be interesting. We've seen so many Doctors with traits. Often, especially in the modern era, they tend to parrot David Tennant. I think an interesting trait would be, after so many regenerations, this Doctor probably has a miscalibrated sense of humor or emotion, miscalibrated sense of humor and emotions. And what I mean by this is that perhaps there would be scenes where someone tells a joke and the 16th Doctor, instead of laughing and understanding the joke, the Doctor believes that this is something serious and quite sad, and he reacts quite emotionally to the situation, quite seriously, and everyone else in the room doesn't understand the reaction. I think that would be interesting. And then there would be moments of seriousness where maybe there is an antagonist and they are saying something serious, and they're putting people's lives on the line, and then the Doctor would just laugh, and the Doctor would think that it is a joke. And I think that would be an interesting quirk for the Doctor. So that would be something for the fun of it. The Doctor, let's see here, what would be interesting? I think what would be interesting long-term overall as a unique personality trait as well would be that the Doctor has lost sense of the value of his companions and the human lives. So let's say lost sense of value of human life. At this point, the Doctor has been alive for well more than 1,000 years now, and I think what would be interesting, because in many of the recent seasons we have seen a cycling of companions coming in and out, and the Doctor doesn't really process that in an interesting and believable way, just people cycling in and out. And so I think it would be interesting if one of the important parts of this Doctor's first season is this Doctor has just turned off to that, and perhaps doesn't value, or no, desensitized to companions and their deaths. So let's say that we will break this down into 3 arcs. We want to have a 12 episode run, so we make sure that we have breathing room, we can have time for quiet moments. Something that is missing from modern Doctor Who is breathing room. They are trying to get so many plot points out, and look at these special effects. So I want 12 episode run, even if that means that each episode has a smaller budget. We can work with that. I would rather have breathing room and time to spend time with the characters, even if they are sitting in a fish and chip shop and they're just talking. That is a way to cut back on the budget, but spend time with these characters. It is important to spend time with them. So the overall season arc is the Doctor has lost sight of the value of companions as they die in his presence in increasing frequency. And then perhaps there is a reveal that it is later revealed someone is hunting down anyone who becomes or may become a companion to the Doctor. How about that? Let's see here. And then the Doctor discovers this hunter. Oh, we'll call this character the Hunter for now. Is a previous companion that was abandoned and faithfully waited years for the Doctor to return for him or her. We don't know who the hunter is yet. Him for them. We won't specify the gender of the hunter. I think that it really depends on the actor that will be portraying the hunter. So let's say that okay, here we go. The Doctor, let's just quickly give this character a name. let's say Sam. We'll use the name Sam as that can be used for male or female. The Doctor lost track of a companion named Sam after becoming desensitized to the loss of one companion after another. Sam was left on a planet alone. Somehow, Sam was able to steal a TARDIS and then set out on a quest, on a rampage, on a vendetta, set out with a vendetta to hunt down the Doctor's companions. Knowing Sam would not be able to defeat the Doctor themselves, they set out to harm the Doctor in the only way they knew how. But in order to do that, the hunter, manipulated events in order to help restore the Doctor's sense of love and appreciation for his companions. So we have a multi-arc story here now. So we have a starting point and an end point. Oh, and let's not forget the screwdriver. I just regenerated, so I should... it's a screwdriver. But I believe there should be some interesting gimmicks. So perhaps this is the sonic screwdriver, but its special property and gimmick is... Oh, blimey. That has changed shape. So perhaps the gimmick for this sonic screwdriver is that it is actually a screwdriver that can change form into different tools to fit different situations. Have a look at that. A return of the sonic sunglasses. I wonder what these might be useful for. Anyway, let's go ahead and return the screwdriver back to its original form. All right, let's get back to the writing of the story here. So, episodes 1 through 4, we need to establish what feels like a typical adventure where the Doctor has regenerated and the Doctor is looking for companions, and there should be a high volume of companions, but every time the Doctor spends any small amount of time with people, when it seems like he is about to invite the companion to join him on the TARDIS, then the companion is killed in some way. So the Doctor goes on, and these should be very fun adventures. Let's save the budget. Early on, I think we should save the budget, so maybe we'll restrict this to Earth and its history, so we can ramp up the intensity later on in the season. So on Earth history-based adventures to gather charismatic and lively companions. These companions right out of the gate should be very likable. They should be, bright-eyed and starry-eyed and positive and exciting. And they absolutely are so excited about joining as a companion, and they want to go on adventures and see the universe. They get to shortly after being invited to join, they are killed in mysterious and tragic ways. And this should ramp up. in the first 2 episodes, perhaps it's a bit slow and steady, but in episodes 3 and 4, it becomes a bit of a montage. So eventually becomes a montage where in which the doctor's reactions to these deaths becomes increasingly distant and nonchalant. Okay. And by the end of this arc, the Doctor doesn't care at all or show reaction to the deaths of his potential companions as he gives up. Sam, who eventually becomes the Hunter, is introduced during the late arc montage and is left on a planet due to the Doctor forgetting to return to pick up Sam. There we go. But it will be played as quietly as possible. Okay, so episodes 5 through 8 will be the second arc of this season, and let's see, a companion joins. Let's stick with a strong, starry-eyed, naive, a companion joins, and is not immediately killed like the other countless companions. The Doctor is shocked and is suspicious the entire time, potentially suspecting that this new companion, that is interesting, may be behind it somehow. Let's see. Stacy is a naive and starry-eyed writer and journalist who wants to explore and travel the universe. There we go. Okay, so during this season, this is when the Doctor's sense of faith is restored. Over time and numerous adventures, the Doctor's faith is gradually restored. Faith and hold on. We need to spend more time. No. The Doctor's lack of faith and appreciation for companions is explored as he is quite dismissive and sometimes cruel to Stacy. Let's see. Evidence of lost previous companions are discovered in the TARDIS by Stacy at the end of toward the end of the arc. Toward the end of the arc, Stacy confronts the Doctor about the lost previous companions, and he begins to process his grief. He starts restoring his faith and appreciation for companions, but very slowly and with some struggle. Okay, now we also need some sort of physical mechanism to keep reminding us that Sam is the hunter. Sam is somehow perhaps leaving calling cards, right? So let's see. Sam is sort of a bad wolf situation as the hunter leaves calling cards that serves as clues to both inform and manipulate the Doctor. Okay, now for the very end of the arc, this is when things ramp up. Now exploring other planets. Stacy is eventually abducted, is abducted from the Doctor, who react at first. Oh, this is good. Who at first does not react, believing Stacy is just another in the long line of lost companions that have meant nothing to him. However, back in the TARDIS, the Doctor discovers small novels and writings that Stacy has made about their adventures, and he understands how valuable their time together has been. The Doctor, let's see. Ooh, how about this? The Doctor returns to abandoned companions from the first arc. Okay, the Doctor returns to abandoned and picks them up, taking them on as proper companions in order to rescue Stacy. Let's say that there are two. The Doctor now has, let's say two. You don't want to overdo it because we haven't explored these characters fully yet. So the Doctor now has two companions, and after going on adventures and exploring, the Doctor confronts the hunter. Oh, how about this? No, you don't want to overclutter it and say, oh, Sam has a connection to these two companions. That would be too convenient at this point, so let's go ahead and leave it. The Doctor confronts the hunter, who has Stacy imprisoned. And let's see. Perhaps some sort of plot device, a plot device item that the Doctor has given to Stacy activates in the presence of the Doctor, allowing her to escape. There should be a height of some sort of emotional connection, because at this point, Stacy is... how would she react? Because at first, Stacy would be angry at first for she would have seen the doctor's reaction and seen that he didn't care. Foreseeing the doctor's reaction to, I feel like that should be the doctor's nonchalant reaction to her abduction. So she should be quite distrustful of him. She would be distrustful of him in this final arc. Eventually, the doctor learns who the hunter is. Let's see. And tries to make things right, but the hunter says they don't want to be saved by the doctor. Something about now that the hunter has lured the doctor here, he's put in some, the hunter will use some sort of mechanism that requires the presence of both TARDISes, both the Doctor and the hunter's stolen TARDIS. Perhaps this TARDIS it's something. We'll figure it out. Yeah. This is what coming back to expand on the concept is for. Okay, so the presence of both the Doctor and the hunter's stolen TARDIS to power a machine that will erase all of the Doctor's previous and future companions from time and space. And the Doctor with his 3 new companions find a way to stop the hunter. In an emotional moment, the Doctor is able to get through to the hunter, and I know, he steals he kidnaps the hunter after abducting him and taking him, after abducting them, we don't know who it is yet, them, and taking them on a series of adventures. It is in this situation which is expressed through a montage. This character dynamic is comedic and emotional as the hunter continually expresses resentment and hatred, as the Doctor expresses remorse. It is implied years pass. It should feel like this dynamic should feel like a buddy cop TV show or film. It is implied years pass before the Doctor and the hunter return to the present day events, wherein the hunters, it should be capital T, shouldn't it? The hunters' memories and consciousness from those, we'll call them lost adventures, lost adventures with the Doctor, wherein the hunters with the Doctor, the Doctor, return. The hunter sacrifices themselves to stop the machine that will erase the Doctor's companions from all of time, thus ending the story, and finally restoring the Doctor's sense of love and appreciation for his companions. Okay, there we go. That is the story. So that is it. I will put the document here, and you may read through that. You can pause that video and you may read through this. So, did you enjoy this process? This is how I work as a writer. I think of the endpoint of where I want the character to be, and I think of an interesting starting point for that character, and it is the journey of getting to that endpoint that makes things interesting. There are so many techniques to make that process interesting. You have to have a strong understanding of the medium and the audience. What does the audience like? What does the audience expect? And how can you use the audience's expectations in order to create an interesting story? This is a situation where the writer should have a very strong understanding of what Doctor Who audiences want and expect. This is how I would write this. There would be very little mention of sexuality and gender. We would go ahead and leave that out of this story. It's something that has been annoying the viewership for Doctor Who for years now. So if you enjoyed this, feel free to read through that. You can go ahead and pause that and go through it. I hope you enjoyed that. Please let me know what you think of this 16th Doctor. In my headcanon now, this is number 16. I really hope that you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think of these story arcs. What did you think of Sam as the Hunter? Do you want to see Sam return as the Hunter in the future to help in some way? Do you want to see more about Stacey? Was Stacey interesting? What do you think of these story ideas? Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Okay, on to the next adventure.